Hello, everyone. Yuval Teren is here, a mental coach and a human analyst. And today we are here with Keren Levy, known as the Miami homeopath. And she will share just in about a moment what is it that she's exactly doing and how she's helping so many people improve their life. So, Keren, I'm very excited for you to be on the show. How are you doing today?
Hi, Yuval. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great and feel very excited to have this platform with you and this opportunity to share information and to just help as many people as possible. That's the mission.
So, as our mission here on the show, if we speak about mission, is to inspire others to become the better version of themselves. And maybe I want to begin with a quick question. What does it mean, a homeopath? What is it that you're doing exactly? So give us maybe some background, some ideas about it.
Okay, so I'm going to give a little bit of background about homeopathy because a lot of people are into homeopathy today or see different products that are homeopathic on the shelf, but really don't understand the origin of it. So, homeopathy was actually discovered 200 years ago by a German doctor, Samuel Hahnemann. He was a brilliant man and he basically discovered homeopathy in Europe during the time of different epidemics. And it was during the malaria epidemic where he was actually translating medical text. And he came across a text that said that the plant quinine can actually cure malaria due to its bitter taste. And so Hahnemann said, well, there's plenty of plants that have bitter taste. That can't be the reason why this specific plant can cure malaria. And so he started ingesting the plant himself and taking it and realized he started developing symptoms of malaria. And that was the beginning of homeopathy. And the whole philosophy behind homeopathy is like treats like. So we basically give the body similar information to what it already has in order to correct the disturbance and help the body shift from a sick or place of discomfort to a place of comfort and health. So homeopathy has about 7,000 different remedies. So the remedies is what we call the medicines. And remedies are made up of anything natural on the planet. So if we start with the minerals and we take the periodic table, for instance, we have a remedy made from every single mineral in the periodic table. Then we have the plants. We have about 4,000 plants that we have remedies from. And we also do have remedies made from different venoms of animals, whether it's a venom of a bee or snakes or spiders. And obviously, those would be more peculiar cases. The way homeopathy works is the remedy, the information of the remedy has to match the picture in the body that we're trying to treat. So the fascinating thing about homeopathic medicine is the remedies have absolutely no substance in them. So you take a substance, let's say we take a plant like arsenic, right? Arsenic is a poisonous plant that can actually kill. You take the plant and you make a mother tincture, right? You preserve it in alcohol. And from that mother tincture, you take one drop, and that one drop gets diluted hundreds and hundreds of times. So by the 12th time that that drop was diluted, there's absolutely, in physics, it's called the Avogadro law, there's absolutely no substance in that drop. And the higher you go, the more you dilute a substance, the stronger the homeopathic remedy is, because the stronger level of energy that we're dealing with. And so it's really mind boggling because we're so used to Western medicine and a good medication being a strong one that can now really affect my body. And here it's more of like nanotechnology. We're actually saying the smallest, the doses, but the more accurate it is, the more impact it actually has on the body.
Wow, it's fascinating to see how nature, how from nature we can help people. Um, and it's like, it seems from your story, it seems like in the movies. Um, it seems
Absolutely.
like a science fiction
Science
movie.
fiction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
S- s-
Maybe you can give us some ideas of, our listeners listen to our episode, and maybe there is something that they can do at home, or something that they can apply from the philosophy of homeopathy that can help them in their everyday life.
So, just a little bit more, just so everyone and our listeners do understand, for the homeopathic remedy to really work, to really heal, to really shift the body from the state that it's stuck in, whether it's physical symptoms or mental emotional symptoms. The remedy has to be very accurate. So it's the homeopath's job, which is my job, when I see a person, to really collect all the data that for me will represent the totality picture of the person, both on the physical and on the mental emotional. So I do have to gather up all the symptoms that the body produces from our head down to our toe, to the mental emotional, which is what is my struggles or challenges? How are they affecting me? And how do I express myself in times like that? Right. And so it's hard for people to just treat themselves homeopathically. But what I do offer, and that could be a whole other session, is what we could do is a first aid episode where I can actually teach on first aid remedies that you should have at home, that could match certain symptoms, whether it's burns, whether it's trauma, whatever it is, that people could help their body, um, quickly heal from whatever it is that the struggle is happening. So, it's hard to be able to prescribe yourself homeopathic remedies, and the over the counter ones, it's really important for me just to emphasize the over the counter homeopathy, whether it's for cold or flus. A lot of times they can help in acute situations. And a lot of times that the remedy just doesn't match the symptoms, so it's not going to do anything. So it's important for people to understand that, because people come to me and say, "Oh, I've tried homeopathy, but it doesn't really work on me." There is no such thing as homeopathy doesn't work on me. When the remedy is accurate, the magic in the body happens. The healing process happens, and the body literally shifts on the mental, emotional, and physical to a more balanced and peaceful place.
I love it. So what made you begin going into that field? What inspired you to learn more about it?
So, it's interesting. My personal story is very quickly is um, I battled depression through my childhood. I had a lot of challenges. Um, and I always didn't believe in medications, whether I was sick and my mom took me to the doctor and got me on antibiotics, or whatever medication I was given. I was always like, it's not really doing it for me. It's don't really feel well. And why am I not feeling well on the inside? And I started exploring it at a later age, but I always had the mission and always loved helping others. I feel like that's my calling, is really being in service to others, is really inspiring others to create and achieve their purpose here on this lifetime. And I really believe that when we do find our purpose and we do reach fulfillment, we become the healthiest that we could be. So, it was always fascinating to me how to really work on your soul, how to work on your mental, emotional, how to get yourself to be authentic to yourself and yet feel good in your surroundings, which, as we know, when you two work with so many people, it's probably the biggest challenge that we have in this lifetime, right? But there are so many tools out there in so many ways that we can heal ourselves that it took me on the journey. And the more I explored and the more I tried things on myself, I realized that there are answers out there. And I did my BA in psychology. I thought that was the route I was going to take. And after graduating, I also felt that it was limited and I was looking for more. And I literally just went and back then you went to the library to do research, right? And I literally would sit for hours and hours and really research other types and forms of medicines that are out there. And when I came across homeopathy, which actually coincided with me being in Israel, visiting family and friends, and there it's really developed. It's part of socialized medicine there. I became so fascinated with a form of medicine that one comes from nature, right? Nature is our primal source of healing ourselves. So it came from nature and it really helped the body on all levels. It wasn't just about suppressing and getting rid of a physical symptom. It was really learning what it means to be healthy and how it feels and how do we achieve well-being, which is a whole nother question, right? Like if I asked you, what's your opinion? What do you think health is? What would you say?
Health. I think first of all, it's a feeling that you feel good, you're active. It's a state of mind also being healthy.
100%.
And I think it's a combination of all of it, being able to perform ourselves at our best, feeling good, emotionally healthy, physically healthy, mentally healthy.
100%. Yes. And that's complex, right? And it takes work and it's a practice. And homeopathy is one modality in all of it. But for me, and what I've learned over the years, being a homeopath and giving energetic medicines, right? And seeing people heal from chronic illnesses, getting kids off heavy medications like steroids and inhalers for asthma that their doctor said there is no cure for, or severe allergies, or depression, anxiety, all of that. There's a lot of suffering out there. And when you see how an energetic remedy has the ability to really cure the body where you don't suffer from these physical symptoms and your body is now thriving and you're feeling better and you're more confident, it really taught me how everything comes down to energy at the end of the day. So we are energetic beings. Everything in life comes down to energy. And so when we
If
understand, sorry, go ahead.
is there any anything in the field or any person that inspired you to go through that path, or maybe any quote or something that gave you some inspiration to walk in that path?
Well, I think my biggest inspiration was when I was in Israel during that time, and it was, I was in my 20s. It's probably why my biggest passion is to work with teenagers and young adults that are really trying to find themselves. I find that the brain, the frontal lobe of the brain is not fully developed, and we ask a lot of questions, and we're not really sure what are we supposed to do, what we like, what we don't like. And I was there during that time, and someone really recommended for me to go see a homeopath. And it was incredible to just feel the shift, the deep shift that I experienced in myself, in my body, in the empowerment and the clarity, the mental clarity that I gained from, okay, I'm just going to go for that because that is what I feel I need to do, rather than allow my fears and concerns to stop me or doubt myself. Is this the right thing or not the right thing? And so I
It's a
work a
very good
lot.
idea for our listeners to pay attention to just a go for it attitude. If you have something passion, just go for it. Be stronger than your excuses. Just do. And looking at that, at your path, it's very inspiring also for people to see how they can follow their path and their inspiration. Because sometimes we say, okay, if I started learning a certain path, or someone did their their bachelor's in a certain field, in economics or in whatever it is, um, they think maybe that's their only path. But look how life takes you into different paths, just if you pay attention to the signs, to what life gives you, all of those signals, little signals and paths. Is there any quote that you can share with us that you like, or keeps you motivated following your goals and achieving your big goals in life? Something that maybe inspired you in the past, or something that still inspires you. Could be a famous quote, or even something that just someone that you know told you.
So, so it's hard for me to think of one specific quote because my whole practice is really about being a philosopher, being open to the signs, right, that we get in life from the universe or God or whatever spiritual belief you have, and really also opening that channel of communication with your own body, your own wisdom, and your own intuition. So a lot of the body's wisdom actually comes from the gut and the heart. And I find that the brain, not that I find, but I see it happening in practice, especially with my equine coaching, that the brain a lot of times could limit us and our belief system that we hold onto, what we feel comfortable with, or what we think is going to get us from point A to point B is not always the way to go because it could also create resistance. So I always tell people acceptance versus resistance, right? And a lot of people can practice meditation and hold on to a very specific mantra, which is a beautiful practice, but at the same time, if we are holding on to one mantra or one belief and we don't open ourselves to really communicate with our own bodies, we actually can create resistance. And it could prevent us from moving forward and reaching our end result that we want to achieve. And so I'd love to tell a little bit about why I work with the horses and how the coaching with the horses really opens up that channel of communication.
Would love to hear about it. It's a fascinating topic.
Great, great. So the equine coaching is an approach to personal development which incorporates the horses into the coaching process. So we learn how to gain valuable information and self-awareness about ourselves through communicating with our bodies energetically. So, what does that mean energetically, right? Our brain talks to us all the time. We get information all the time. We use our IQ so much from the moment we come into this world. But this work actually helps us develop emotional intelligence and social intelligence. And it really is when we're working with these powerful, incredible spiritual animals, we end up learning what it means to be connected first to ourselves, and then how do we actually connect to another being? And one of the biggest the attributes here is that horses communicate non-verbally, right? So you can't be like, "Oh, cutie, come, come over and walk with me." Doesn't work. They communicate energetically. They're prey animals. So, because they're prey animals, they've developed their intuition and their skill to survive on this planet for thousands and thousands of years. And because they're herd animals, they're able to take care of one another in order to stay in the herd, to keep the herd from surviving and being able to live on this earth. And so a lot of the exercises that I do is how to empower people to really listen to themselves, to allow those feelings, it could be emotions that we really don't want to feel or we have suppressed over the years, and how to really connect to our energetic being, which is a substantial part of who we are and can really help us formulate the perception that we want to have, which then allows us to formulate the life and have the experiences and results that we want in this life.
I love it. I feel many times as people, we have more critics to ourselves than really listening to ourselves. And
Exactly.
what do you think would be a good path? Maybe you have a tool or something that you can share with our listeners that they can, or it could be an idea also to think about, that they can think or do to maybe listen more to themselves and be more connected with their inner self.
I love that. I love this question. So, one of the biggest issues as human beings that we have is that we always think of what could we do better? What did we not do so well? Or people use the word perfect, which I eliminate completely from my vocabulary because perfection doesn't even exist. And so it just creates pathology. And so we're so focused on what could go wrong. What didn't I do so good? How can I improve for the future? And in my practice, I always teach people that the first thing that we should do every day at the end of the day is recognize at least three things that we did successfully, three things that we really did well. And there's plenty that we do well throughout the day. We just don't pay attention to what we do well. We pay attention to what we didn't do so well. So first, recognizing our accomplishments and achievements. It is an incredible tool to use because the moment you recognize your achievements and your accomplishments, your brain then starts to recognize, oh, I'm more than capable. I have these tools. I've done this really well in the past. There's no reason why I can't do it well again. And so then the brain recognizes it and we become a lot more confident and in our power to continue with our challenges that we have on a daily basis. So recognizing what you do well, celebrating it. And it's also good to say, what would I like to refine? What is one or two or three things that I did today that I can refine for next time? Now, listen to the words that I'm using, right? I'm saying, how can I refine it? I'm not saying I was stupid. I suck. I didn't do well. I'm not good at it. I can't do this. I never use that terminology because the moment you use those words, that's the message that you give your brain, which then creates a lot of fear and anxiety. And so we want to be able to have the freedom You want the body to have the freedom to adjust from situation to situation, from challenge to challenge, and still stay connected from a place of curiosity. And I'm curious how that's going to unfold, right? A lot of times when we approach something that we've never done, okay, I don't do a lot of podcasts. So, of course, there was that, ooh, how's it going to go? You know, is it going to be good or not good? And then I said to myself, enjoy the process. What can happen? Right. And come from a place of opportunity, being grateful for the opportunity, first of all, and take it to a place of curiosity. I'm curious how it's going to unfold. The moment we take it to that level, we're going from the lowest level of survival mode, the lowest level of energy that we work from, which is survival mode, to the highest level of energy, which is everything is possible and everything is open because I'm now curious how it's going to work. So, besides opening all the options up, we can see clearly, and our body doesn't paralyze us from being afraid or feeling sort of a discomfort if something can go wrong. So our performance level goes up to the best possible place it could be. Your results become the best they can be. And at the same time, which for me is the most important thing, is to learn from every challenge and process that we get to do.
I love it. Wow, so many great ideas. Learning from every challenge that we might experience in life is actually the greatest gift that people can have, because many times people say, always being at maybe a tough situation, looking at it from the same moment, we say, why it happens to me? It's so hard. I can't do it. But always after overcoming the challenge and going through that experience, looking back, everyone is grateful for that experience because it made them become a certain person and learn certain skills. So even though we think some things are not good at a certain moment, later we understand that they were good for us and they were there to guide us. So I love it. And also your approach to just do it, just make it happen, just start moving, do not fear. I love it. I think for everyone, it's a good reminder that sometimes in life we have fears, stress. We always have things that will come up and might create hesitation for us towards our goals. But overcoming those hesitations and being stronger than those little thoughts will always shift our life for good. So I love it. Maybe we can.
Yeah.
I want to summarize our conversation today. Maybe with, you know, it could be a sentence from you or a few words from you for people to remember that you want them, our listeners, to make sure that they remember that can help them become the better version of themselves. Could be a few words, quote, a sentence, whatever you feel that you want to share.
Thank you. So I really do believe from my own experience and working with so many people and being in practice for 20 years that we can literally create the state of mind that we want, the lifestyle, the outcomes, the thoughts, and the feelings. We are the ones that control it, and we have the power to change and shift at any moment in time. And people get afraid from difficult times. We, as human beings, we don't like to feel uncomfortable. We like what's familiar. Um, and I say, welcome those challenges. And as soon as you are at a road where you're struggling, ask yourself, what can I learn from this struggle? So we're here to learn and evolve. That is the purpose of this life as human beings. And so if we don't come, if we don't face challenges and we don't have hardship, we end up not growing. We end up staying in our comfort zone. We do what's familiar, what's comfortable, and the body goes into a state of stasis. Like there is no flow of energy. There's no renewal of energy, of thought, of experiences, which stunts our growth and brews disease because it's not something that we as human beings feel good with and that makes us fulfilled. And so I say the moment you are in a difficult situation, my first thing is I remind myself that I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this opportunity because through pain and through difficult times is when we actually grow the most. And so welcome it. I say, bring it on. Let me see, what do I have to learn from this? And take it to a place of curiosity, of let me be interested in how things will unfold and trust your gut and your intuition. Listen more to your gut and your heart than your mind in those situations because your mind will limit you and will tell you to do what's familiar and comfortable. Your gut, on the other hand, or your heart might say, this could be interesting. This might feel good. This might change my life. This might open another opportunity that I didn't have before. So take it on and trust that your body will guide you in the right direction. And it's always okay to ask for help. There's so much help out there and so many different tools that we can use that reach out for those tools, but keep on moving and growing. Don't stay in one comfortable place.
Love it. Strong insights. So, Keren, I want to thank you for being with us today on the show and sharing so much fascinating information. I want to make sure that people can find you also after listening to our episode. So, how they can find you through social media, uh, on a website, maybe you want to share with us.
So, first of all, thank you so much for having me. As much as I was concerned about doing a podcast, I actually enjoyed every minute of it. And I'm really honored to be able to have this platform to be able to inspire anyone at any time. So my practice is in Miami Beach. I have a family practice, so I do see all ages at Miami Beach Pediatrics, which is a pediatric office. Um, so you can find me on Google as Keren Levy, the Miami Homeopath. The Miami Homeopath.com is also my website. And you can feel free to reach out, whether it's for coaching with horses is incredible and powerful experience, or if you just want to improve your well-being and health, we could also meet in my office at Miami Beach Pediatrics.
Love it. Thank you, Keren.
Thank you so much, Yuval. All the best to you and our listeners. And yes, let's just live life and really enjoy the moment.
Let's live life and enjoy the moment.